Yo, what's going on, people? King Rich is back again with another video. Yeah, listen up. I'm gonna do a reaction video to a very important video talking about leaving the hood and staying away from the hood, and why it's in your best interest to leave that kind of lifestyle, that culture behind. And really and truly, any kind of like street people, you should just avoid them, bro. And like, I did a video similar to this topic 2 days ago, but I think it's something that I'm gonna keep touching, because I was in the gym today and I was talking to a couple of my friends, and we were talking about the reality of that kind of lifestyle, that kind of mentality, that culture, and how it affects the black community, how a lot of us end up being unsuccessful, underachieving in life, and how just it has taken a hold of the community, even though the minority of people are criminals and dysfunctional. It seems like they have the loudest voices and they get the most support. So anyway, we are going to take a quick look at this video and let's get into it. Everybody please like the video, hit the hype and all that good stuff. So let's jump into it. And here we go. Let's go. And this comes from the Tanashi Peter YouTube channel.
So here's the thing. If you are new here, let me just warn you. I am the dude who not only says the quiet part out loud, but I say the silent. I'm talking about like dog whistle silent part out loud. I notice and observe things and I call them as I see them. Now, I want to talk about this thing of how most black folk who end up making some money leave the community that they once came, right? And I want to mix that in with this conversation of gentrification. This is actually a conversation me and my pops had this morning before I dropped him off at the airport, or at the train station to get to the airport. And I was thinking to myself, it's incredible how gentrification is always seen as a race issue. It's always like, black people or brown people being kicked out. But in reality, what's actually taking place, like I lived in the Bay Area for close to 2 decades, and I saw a place like East Palo Alto go from being one of the unaliving capitals in the country to 0 unalivings happening within a year, which is unprecedented, right? Now, some people would have seen it as well because they kicked all the black folk out. And to me, I say that's actually really insulting. Like, as a black person, I'll be insulted as hell if somebody's like, well, gentrification, that's a terrible thing that there was 0 unalivings that happened in that area. No, what it says is there was a cultural shift in that area, right? A cultural shift. It did not have to be based on race. They didn't say, are you black? Are you white? No, they said, okay, we want to bring the property value up here. We want this place to actually be a hub of wealth. So therefore, those who are wealthy, welcome in. And so a lot of Chinese folks, Indian folks, white folks moved into there. I would not be surprised if at this point, white folks are the minority within that space. But nevertheless, those cultures that have been promoting functional, stable environments are the ones who populate. And you'll also find, like one of my homeboys, may his soul rest in paradise. His grandparents live in that neighborhood and they've lived there forever. There was no gentrification of them. They are staples in that community, but also they are a different type of family. They move different. Grandpa always made sure to not just have this job, but to always be at the top notch, to always educate himself, to push a certain way of being to his kids and to his kids' kids, etc. Right? Grandmama the same. They always made sure to be solid people and to prioritize first things first. And so they didn't get pushed out. It wasn't a race thing, but instead it was a cultural thing. So they fit into the culture that now exists, which is family first, as opposed to violence and, people moving through there with chaotic ways of being. This is a man who's also a pastor of a church down there. So the way in which they saw themselves in context of their environment, they would have been the very one who thrived off of having that sort of environment. So the reason I bring this up and kind of quantify it, I guess the title is going to be, why successful black people leave the quote unquote hood, You know, it reminds me of a scene in one of my favorite all-time movies, Next Friday, when Uncle Willie and Craig are walking together, and Craig is like asking about the house. Man, this house is fly, whatever. And Uncle Willie's like, yeah, I always taught myself if I got a little money, I never leave the hood. But when I got me a little money, I was gone. Most people, if they're to be honest with themselves, if you were born in a lower social economic environment, I don't care if you're born in a trailer park, you know, around a whole bunch of hillbilly white folk, or you were living in the middle of goddamn Baltimore in the worst of the worst neighborhood. I don't care where it is that you're coming from and what you look like. You want to get out of that environment to get into a better environment. Yes, you would love to clean up your environment. Yes, you would love to add to it. But we have heard of too many tragic tales of some of these entertainers, etc., who end up getting their lives taken from them in their very own neighborhoods.
See, this is the thing I want to add in. It's not so much a thing about, you know, black people being dysfunctional as a whole. It's a thing of class. There's different types of people within an ethnic group. There are affluent black people, upper class black people, working class black people. There's just, you know, the majority of black people are not criminals breaking the law or dysfunctional. I think a lot of black people are just normal. But the problem is there is this percentile within the black community that gets a lot of spotlight that are totally dysfunctional. They cannot be trusted. They, for the most part, most of them cannot be saved. A lot of them, they love their dysfunction. They see it as that's their culture. They see it as that's keeping it real. And those people are a problem, right? And at the end of the day, it's not your duty as a black person to fix them or try to save them. If you are somebody who's managed to grow mentally, financially, just as a human being, it's not in your best interests to stick around people who are choosing to stay low vibration. It's not in your best interest. In fact, it's very dangerous to stay around people like that. Because these people like that, they will find insidious ways to try and bring you down to their level or to use you. And that is why a lot of black people who become wealthy, successful, etc., they leave the hood and they don't look back. And to be honest, I don't blame them. At this stage in my life, I don't really want to be around any super hood people. I don't want to date any hood rats. I don't want to be friends with guys who, you know, if I'm hanging out with them or I go to different places with them, there's a danger that they're going to bring some kind of chaos. Or maybe they're just a chaotic person in general. I don't want to be around those kind of people. I want positive vibes around me. So it's weird. It's not so much a thing of, gentrification, you know, get the black people out, etc., etc. It's not that, because there's very functional, high-flying, successful black people. But it's the particular percentage, which is the minority, I would say, who just cannot be saved. They're the people that make the problems, make the issues. And really and truly, it's up to everybody as an individual to do better. When you know better, you do better. Some people, some of them, they don't know no better. Some people, they're just ignorant. Some people, they just revel in the stupidity. And those people cannot be saved. In fact, those people, they wave it as a badge of honor. You know, you hear guys come out on podcasts and they love going on and on about how they've been to jail and, you know, all this other dysfunctional stuff. And it's just like, bruh, this is not something to be proud about at all. This is not something that you should be bragging about. I think that it's deliberate that these kind of people, they always get on large platforms. They always get put to the forefront. You know, watching these kind of degenerates and stereotypical cartoon characters of black people is always put on TV. You know, the media loves it. When in reality, it does not represent the majority. The majority of people are just trying to live normal lives. And then there's the added factor that, you know, the youth usually always take to those platforms. They always the youth always they always kind of like that kind of material. They find it exciting, entertaining, etc., etc. But anyway, let's carry on with what this guy was saying.
Place that they actually started. Nipsey Hussle, in his complex, he had bought this place and employed so many people and allowed other businesses to have low rents. He tried to do the most for these people, and yet they are the very ones who end up taking him out, who are plotting on him, the very same ones. And so we have to be honest about these conversations. That's why I am beholden to the truth, folks. I got a fire in my damn belly about these things. God put it on me where it's like, you can't sleep tonight until you tell the damn truth. Like, you got to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Every day, I'm called with it. It's like, you got to say it exactly how it is. Yeah, don't worry about the ones who get offended and try to attack you, try to do this. I got them. No weapon formed against you, period. Period. Never. So I'm telling it as it is.
And I commend him for doing this as well, talking about this. He's got a big platform. He's on like 200,000 subscribers. Because, you know, just like me, I talk about these realities that, you know, hood culture, street people, hood rats, you know, you should disconnect from them. You shouldn't be around them. Try not to buy into that culture. You know, how the rap music is very destructive. A lot of these artists are just straight up demonic. They're putting out demonic messages, which a lot of the black youth consume. And basically they're just not role models. They're not heroes. Right? And you don't really hear that many black guys or black people speaking out against this psyop. You don't. And it doesn't really get that much traction either. Because the majority of black people, they don't really care. The majority of black people, they just like to go along like sheep, mindless chickens, just going along with whatever's being fed to them. Sad. Anyway.
Folks, we have to shift this mindset that it's a negative thing to want to move the hell up out of a dysfunctional space. It's a negative thing to change a space over into something that's actually, God forbid, profiting and prospering and healthy and functional. You get so addicted to the dysfunction that you think that that's normal. Absolutely not. It's not a race thing. And there's a story I heard recently, and it's also telling. So T.I., back in the day when he was T.I., T.I.P., he tried to buy a house, like his first house, I guess, in the suburbs of Atlanta. I believe it was Atlanta. So this is a multi-million-dollar house. And he goes to the realtor, and the realtor's like, look, I really want to sell you this house, but the neighbor's kind of skeptical. So T.I. took that as racism, you know, because everything's always racism. I wasn't there. I don't know. Maybe it was racism. But I could also not write off the chance that perhaps it's because T.I. was a gangster rapper, you know. He had a F on that report card of his, and he was surrounded by other felons and things like this was also a reality, right?
Yeah. You're a gangster rapper. Why would these people who are not into that kind of lifestyle want a gangster rapper to move in next door? Like, bruh, like, you can't make that a race issue. Now, again, it could have been a race issue, but the fact that we're talking about someone who is famous, well known, you know, a well known figure, public figure. I mean, bruh, it could have been a bit of racism, but it could have been the fact that you are a gangster rapper and what you represent is dysfunctional. But anyway.
And these people who live in these environments do not want to have their neighborhoods turn into whatever element that is, or to have that in there. Like, some people don't even think about this aspect. It's just automatic racism. I don't want them because in my neighborhood, I promise you, I don't want any thug, gangster, nothing. I don't care if a rapper just came from Southside Chicago, is worth $100 million today. If they still have the criminal element, I do not want it. I mean, who is it?
Didn't T.I. get arrested by police for having like lots of guns in his car and stuff like that, bro? He's a gangster rapper, bro. Like, you're rapping about guns and supplying illegal substances on the street. Like, bro, what do you expect? Why? I wouldn't want you to live next door. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, if you've renounced that lifestyle and you're speaking against that lifestyle, then that's another thing. But if you are still portraying that, I mean, why would a legitimate, normal 9 to 5, why would somebody like that want you next door? It's just ignorance. So the best thing is to blame it on racism. And a lot of black people will support it because a lot of black people idolize criminals. They glamorize that whole hood street culture. So they want to back it when the reality is what gangster rappers represent, or what criminals represent, is dysfunction. And it should be ostracized, really. But anyway.
I think it's Polo G, Chicago rapper. His brother ended up getting moved into the LA suburbs, and this dude is robbing people. He's calling up people pretending they're about to meet with his brother, who's this famous star, and he ends up jacking him. He's jacking photographers or videographers. He's jacking producers, like these people in the suburbs. I don't want to be involved with that. I want nothing to do with that. Keep that far, far, far away from me and my family, period. And so, continue with this T.I. story. He said that he was so offended, aka ego was so hurt, that he said, all right, fine. And he said, I'll buy their house too. And so they ended up selling the house. And he spent, I think, $10 million. So imagine, like, I would use something like that. You understand me? Because if I know your ego is that fragile, you about to buy, my house probably cost $2 million, and you about to spend 5x. You about to spend 5 times the actual value of that house just to prove a point. I show him. No, you didn't show him a damn thing besides that you a fool with your money, and a fool and his money shall soon part. A fool and his money shall soon part ways. A fool and his money shall. It's around the corner before that money goes. Poof, trying to prove a point, trying to show the salesperson. Oh, see these salespeople, man, they're racist. No, they ain't. They smart. They're gamed up. They teach them to ignore you in that store. La, 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 la. It's a trick of the trade. And then, I'm going to show them. I'm going to buy this whole store out. Thank you. Come again. It's crazy, folks. But there's a reason why black folk want to leave these neighborhoods. It wouldn't matter who's in. I mean, we look at, Chicago right now, New York City, etc. It's like the illegal migrant crisis, right? A lot of these criminals coming through the border, etc. They're the biggest problem now. In a lot of these environments, they're causing most of the havoc right now. Nobody wants to be around that. Black folk, that's why Chicago is turning red in real time. As we speak, Chicago is turning red. Chicago is going full MAGA because they're sick and tired of being in that element. They already were sick and tired of the GDs and the GPSs and the PDs and the LMNOPs and all these other these. They were already tired of that. Let alone they have to now deal with who? With Nicaragua? With Venezuela? With Mexico? Oh, hell no. Absolutely not. We already had enough degeneracy over here. We already had enough violence going on here. Nope. No, sorry, Bob. I'm sorry. Y'all got to go. All of this got to go. If we could all have it our best way, we would get rid of that element completely. Again, it's never been about black, white. It's a cultural thing. And this is what's being accepted within these communities, being what's accepted within the overall culture as normal, or at least as being enabled.
Yeah, and this is the issue, right? The fact that street criminal hood culture is accepted. And I mean, this is not a new phenomenon. This is how it's been for a while. But it's still a very big problem. It's a big issue. And, you know, to be honest with you, I don't really see anything changing. I don't really see how there will be a drastic change, because so many people, including so many black people, support this whole ideology, this mentality, this hood mentality. You know, that's why rappers are praised so highly. That's why they get paid so handsomely to rap about dysfunction, death, and just evil. Right? The hood is not something to glamorize. It's something to run away from, to get away as far as possible. And the people who are wallowing in the hood, who they like living in the hood, they like to brag about how hood they are. Those kind of people, you need to stay away from them. I'm sorry. And these could be family, these could be friends you grew up with, etc., etc. Bro, like, some of these people will destroy you. And it's just the facts of life. You know, now there are gonna be a few people here and there that, you know, they will have the intelligence to step away from that, and you can encourage them, etc., etc., and maybe show them different options and, you know, new ideas and new ways of conducting themselves and thinking and stuff like that. But the vast majority of those particular kind of people, bruh, you have to just leave them to it. Just leave them where they're at, and, you know, love them from afar. That's the only way I can really say. You just gotta love. Sometimes you just gotta love people from far away, because it's just too toxic. It's too poisonous to get close. Do you get what I'm saying? You can get dragged into something very, very easily just by hanging around the wrong people. It's a simple thing. But anyway.
It's being egged on. It's not being criticized. It's not being talked about. And when you do, you're called a sellout. When you do, you're called an agent of white supremacy. That's the problem. The problem is not the people speaking out. The problem is the fact that the ones who do speak out, like myself and many others, are then highlighted as the problem. You know, that's what a person does when they're guilty. They look to gaslight. They look to project their own mess onto somebody else. Oh, you see, if it wasn't for y'all just telling the truth about what's really happening and trying to solve the problem, we would be able to get away with this foolishness. Nope, absolutely the hell not. I am not the one, sir. I am not the one. I'm not. People move out of those neighborhoods for a reason. For a reason. Nobody, even the gangsters, leave the environment. Sosa, Chief Keef, Obla, Bang Bang, moved out of Chicago and never went back. He's the only one, I believe, from that entire generation who has survived. He has not done a long stint, has no RICO case on him. He's still alive, even though almost everybody around him is not. Or, you know, in and out of jail, whatever it is. He's over there living a Los Angeles life. Now, hopefully he's been okay, you know, due to these democratic fires that have been taking place in SoCal. But otherwise, Sosa, Obla, my mind, has been chilling down there. He learned how to articulate himself. He did all kinds of things down there. You understand me? He loves it out there. He never went back to Old Block. He never went back. He never went back to Southside Chicago. Maybe went to visit grandma, whatever, dip and dab, but no staying, no nothing. I'm gonna fly you out, grandma. I'm gonna fly you out, mama, auntie. Come, okay. Y'all come on this side because I have no business over there.
Yeah, because over there is just death and destruction. The enemy came to kill, steal, and destroy. And this is the thing, like, if you're from the hood, you grow up in the hood and stuff like that, and you become very successful, it's going to breed a lot of jealousy and envy. You've probably already got ops over there just for being from those kind of environments. And then now you've become successful. That's going to breed even more hatred. And then, you know, because a lot of these people over there, they're, you know, just living very, very diabolical lives. They're going to want to try and destroy your life, you know, and that's just the reality. So, you know, once you get out of there, it's probably best for you not to go back. Yeah, if you have loved ones like your parents, and stuff like that you want to see, maybe maybe it'll be a better idea to try and get them out of the hood as well. Because if you're going back and forth, doing double dutch, going back in there, bro, it only takes 15 seconds for something stupid to happen, and then your life is changed forever or taken away.
I have no business until it's gentrified. Until it's gentrified. We got to get over this, these past traumas. See, it's a positive thing when a neighborhood has a higher valuation now. And if you think, but black people won't be able to live there, then you think too lowly of black folk.
Exactly. Because there's affluent black people. There's black people that have money. There is up high standing, high class black people who are functional, who are not committing crimes, who do not support criminal lifestyle or criminal culture. Those people will thrive in those quote unquote gentrified locations. Yeah.
You think too lowly. Do you know how many black folk out here are prospering, are making some serious bread, some real money? Not just rappers, entertainers. I'm talking about doctors, lawyers, business owners. Back in high school, the most successful black woman I knew, black mama, besides my own auntie who was doing crazy numbers in the healthcare industry. But within my schooling proximity, I guess you could say, I'm not going to say the dude's name, but his mama owned like 7 McDonald's or something like that. And this woman lived in a beautiful part of Northern California. They were loaded. She owned a multitude of these McDonald's and probably multiple other investments we didn't even know about, couldn't even understand, right? We just knew the ones that we cared about back then because we could probably get something out of. But this woman right here does not want to live in the hood. She does not want to live around a criminal element. You know how I know? Because this black woman who came from such a background moved her ass up out of there and into the suburbs. And y'all need to stop shaming folks for doing better for themselves and their kids. Imagine she was so caught up in it that she said, you know what, even though I'm making all this bread, whatever it is, I got to stay in this neighborhood and my kids are going to grow. Hell no. Her children had a wonderful life, or a much better life than they would have otherwise, because she made a decision to get up out of there. And so, again, if we're not going to change the environment, stop blaming white supremacy. Oh, what the white man stopped. The white man is not the one who is running up in your house. Jack, he's not the one who's, let's be real here. He's not the one who's sticking you up in the damn street. It's somebody.
Now let's make it clear, yeah. We all understand that social engineering has played a very diabolical role in why ethnic minorities try to destroy themselves. You know, it has been a deliberate strategy which has been executed that has made it so that a lot of black people target other black people, seem not to work together, seem to revel in dysfunction. Yeah, it's by design, and it's by the design of non-black people. Let's keep it real. Yeah, but at this stage in history, with the amount of information that is available, knowledge, history that we understand and stuff like that, it's getting to a point where it's actually unreasonable that there is so many black people who still play their part in the destruction of the black community. It's unacceptable. These kind of people need to be outcasted, not put on TV or made to be millionaires so that they can continue to spread demonic messages. You know, yes, you know, the non-black people have done a lot of atrocities and very evil manipulations and social engineering against black people. But at this stage, with, you know, the amount of information and the amount of knowledge we have, we need to do better, you know. And I think one of the first things is we need to ostracize hood culture, street culture, that is not black culture. Whether we're talking about America or the UK or any other country, like criminal culture is not black culture. Yeah. And in any capacity of supporting it or glorifying it or pedestalizing it or making it sound cool or popular or this is just how we are type crap, no, that needs to be cancelled, to be honest. That's just my opinion.
Somebody who looks like your little nephew. So unless these environments are going to be checked first, then we need to stop shaming this element of, oh, we want to progress. We want to make this place, clean this place of its filth. And yes, people who act in such a way, in such a debaucherous, toxic way, they are the equivalent of filth. There's a reason why white folk call, the white folk who do those type of debaucherous, toxic things, they call them white trash. That's what they call them, right? They literally say these people are trash. They don't accept that. They don't want that anywhere close to them. They move further away from that than black folks move away from the hood. They move to another country if it's necessary because they don't want to be around that element. So, yeah, that's that for today. That's all, folks. And again, if it offends you, then you know what? Sometimes being triggered is the best thing you can take.
Yeah. And I think that anyone that gets offended by that is absolutely ridiculous. I think that it's just the reality that some people just cannot be saved. Some people are so ignorant, so low vibration that you just got to stay away from them, get as far away from them as possible. Because again, they live dysfunctional lifestyles. They have dysfunctional outlook on the world. And, a very, very few of them can be coached into being normal people. Do you get what I'm saying? A lot of these people, they're just, I don't know. It's like I wouldn't even call them robots, bruv. I just think that they're just lost, and that's just it. And to be honest with you, I feel like I was lost for a long time in my life, but as I got a high level of maturity, I realized that, all these messages, these ideas that was programmed into us from music and movies and just living in certain environments and being around certain types of individuals and being programmed into this is what's real, this is what's fake. This makes you a lame if you're doing the straight and narrow, if you're not breaking the law or doing crazy stuff, you're a lame and stuff like that. But if you're doing the right thing, it was just so weird. Like when you think about it, when you actually sit down and think about how screwed up it is that the hood and criminal and street culture is seen as the thing to do, you just realize how evil this world is. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, anyway, I hope this was valuable, this little reaction video. I hope you learned something. Please like the video, leave your opinions, your comments down below. Let me know what you think about what you've heard in this video, if you agree or you disagree, and etc, etc. Hype the video if you can. Leave a super thanks under the video, or if you want to donate, you can donate by PayPal, www.paypal.me/KingRiches1. That's my PayPal link right there. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you lot enjoyed it, and I'll be back again tomorrow with more videos. You lot take care of yourselves. I'll be I lost my breath. You lot take care of yourselves. I'll be back again tomorrow. You lot take care. I'm out.